So here we are at the great reveal. It's literally just come through the door. TR7 carburetors and manifold. Right, there you go. So here it is, the unveiling. What a, oh my god. So we've got a fuel pipe. Looks nice. Fuel pipe. TR7 manifold and carbs. Been through storage for quite some time. So, an excellent opportunity to view as it is. The plan is ultimately all of this is going to look like new. That's the plan. And not only is it going to look like new, it's going to operate like new, so that it can be put on a car and made to run really well. So both the carbs need to be fully rebuilt with all the linkages synchronized, balanced up as much as you can on the bench, and then sold. Here you can see just how long they've been living in a shed, covered in all sorts of crap, but an extremely nice basis for restoration. Twin SUs, HS6 carbs on a manifold, originally from a TR7. These carbs will probably fit other cars, but this manifold is TR7, 2 litre TR7. So look at what that's like, and then look at what it looks like when it's finished. So now it's made it to the bench, where we're going to initiate a strip down. Basically all we need to do initially is strip it down, because we want to find out what sort of condition it's in. So let's go ahead with the strip. So the first thing we're going to do is strip it into sub-assemblies. We're going to take the carburetors off as a pair, then we'll have the manifold completely separate, and then we can strip the carburetors down separately, put all of these bits in a separate little box, strip all the manifold down separately, so we can do the same with that, and then we can then restore each individual item. So the first thing we're going to have to do is remove the 8 bolts that secure the carburetors. The bolts that secure the carburetors, one there, obviously the same on the other side, and then underneath you have bolt there, or nut should I say there, a nut there, nut there. So each carburetor has 4 bolts. Nuts, I keep saying bolts, I'm a bit of a useless goon when it comes to that. Notice also that this central section here is attached to the linkage which activates the carburetors. And of course, when the carburetors come loose, this is going to want to come loose as well. And there's 2 nuts, bolts, 2 bolts that hold it on there. So you've got to undo those 2 bolts, undo the 8 nuts on the carburetors as I've just shown you, and then we will get to a position where we can actually remove the carbs from the manifold. And then you can see what condition these are in. Going to want a bit of work, I think, but the manifold blown out with water, get rid of the nest that was in there. Yeah, got to be given a bit of a going over. The carburetors, well, both chokes open all right, so that's the main thing. That one certainly looks like it's had a bit of action in it, but you can see how, now that we've got them separated, we can now start pulling each individual part to pieces. Now the thing is, what I'm going to do, those bell mouth screws are going to be an absolute bastard to undo. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to soak them in WD for the next few days before I even attempt to take them apart. Once the interconnecting bracket is removed, the carbs can then be pulled apart from each other, allowing the linkages to become free, and then they become a separate carb on their own, which can be attended to individually. So now we undo the 3 screws that hold the float bowl on. And then remove the float bowl. And there we have the float, the needle, and the float pin. float top, doesn't look too bad. Take the needle seat out, and we'll put that in the sandblaster. Float bowl, as you'd expect, filthy dirty, horrible inside. Well, that's natural, we expected that, didn't we? So nothing too dramatic there. That bolt there holds the float bowl on, and then the float bowl has got the jet bolted to the bottom. That little clip there, unclip that clip, that allows the jet and the float bowl to come apart. Undo the bolt. Unclip this little clip. Which allows that to come free. You can then undo this bolt. Which allows the jet and the float bowl to be removed. Then we remove that nut there, then that separates the jet and the float bowl apart. Another one to be sandblasted. Little tiny interconnecting piece. Remove the damper. And then we remove the piston, the dashpot and the needle. Look at the state of that. Look at the state of that. What's the chances of that recovering? Well, no. We're going to make it recover. That's what restoration's all about. The state of that in there. It's a little bit of a picture, that, isn't it? So the next thing to remove is the jet housing and the adjuster. This is the adjuster. Sometimes brass. There's a little spring underneath it. This comes off. There's your little spring. That's all in good condition. Then we need to remove that which holds the jet holder in position. That comes off surprisingly easy. That looks okay. Now we've got to get the jet holder out, and that's moving. Made of brass. Red brass, that should clean up quite nicely. Getting there. So now we're going to take these bits off by undoing these nuts here. Everything comes off, then we can get that nut there out, and then finally get those screws off of the off that comes, and the lever arm. So spring, rotate's not too bad. Stay with that. There's hardly any play in that at all, hardly any. None this side, none. There's a little bit this side, and it is only a little bit. Amazing. So little spring. It's got to be disassembled later. Float bolt comes out. Now pretty much there's only a couple of things left on this body. One, the obvious bell mouth, and the tickler pin. We call it a tickler pin, but I mean, hey ho. So I'll take that circlip off and the spring, lubricate it, and then just tap it up gently. That should come off. And then pretty much, apart from that little thing there which guides the piston, I normally take that out so I can actually clean the inside of the bore then. And then basically, then once a really good wash, then it'll go through the sandblaster, and then we'll start looking at what it needs. Oh, I've got to take the throttle stop screw out as well. So throttle stop screw comes out. So, put a little rubber O-ring on it. Bend the tabs back on the bolts. Now we have to see if we can turn and now let's see if we can get the butterfly out. Both bolts are out. Here it comes. There you go. There's the butterfly with the poppet valve, still operational. They're working quite nicely. Yeah, that looks quite nice. And then so here you go then. The first carburetor stripped down. As you can see, needs quite a bit of cleaning and getting at. Some of the items need a little bit more work in order to get them all apart and get them ready to be taken to the next stage. Some of it can literally go in the bin, but that's only the first carb. Exactly the same thing has got to happen to this carburetor, and then they can be reassembled, ready to put back on the reassembled manifold. So there you are then, that's the initial phase of the disassembly of the carburetors. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be starting on the manifold. The manifold is the next section. I'm going to strip that down and restore that. Then obviously we're getting involved with cleaning and overhauling the carburetors. Both of those things, the manifold and the carburetor rebuild, well, restoration, will be in separate videos. And then what I'll do, I'm going to put all the videos together to make one video for those that want to watch the whole lot. And yeah, but yeah, keep watching, and yeah, this is an interesting project. This is the TR7 manifold and carburetors. They're quite a nice set to rebuild. I like doing them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and see you soon.